Good morning, children. We continue with the lesson atmosphere, and last class we had studied about what is atmosphere and the different gases which comprise the atmosphere, then the different layers of atmosphere we had studied, and the different elements of weather which which affect the weather of a place. We had done. Now I had said weather is the average, the atmospheric condition of a place at a given time, and how the different elements such as temperature, pressure, wind, humidity, clouds, rainfall, etc. Influence the weather of a place. Now last class we studied about the temperature, we studied the different temperate zones. Now the second thing which affects the weather of a place is the atmospheric pressure. Now, all of you know that air has weight and it exerts pressure. This is called atmospheric pressure. Now, in science, you must have seen the balloon which is filled with air. If you press it compresses. So it has weight and it exerts pressure. Now, the atmospheric pressure is affected by temperature, rotation of the earth, altitudes, and water vapor. Now, temperature is the most important factor that influences atmospheric pressure. Now, the region which have high temperature record low pressure due to the expansion of air, and the regions of low temperature have high pressure due to contraction of air. Thus, temperature and pressure are inversely related to each other. That means if at any place the temperature is high, pressure will be low. If temperature is low, pressure will be high. So they are inversely. One is high, the other will be low. This you have to remember. Now, atmospheric pressure decreases with the increase in altitude. Now here you can see the picture which shows the warm air, so low pressure, the air rises up. From the high pressure, the cool air is down. You can see that picture. Next we go to the atmospheric pressure, how it is measured. Now air pressure is measured by an instrument called barometer. The unit used to measure air pressure is millibar, and the average air pressure of the atmosphere at sea level is 1013.25 mb. Now here the air pressure is measured by an instrument called barometer. You can see the picture there, a measuring hand and the movable pointer which tells us how much pressure is there, and it is measured in millibar. Now usually we see the average air pressure at the sea level, and the lines joining the places having the same pressure are called isobars. Now next we go to the pressure belts. Now as the air exerts pressure, we have pressure belts. Now there are 7 pressure belts, 3 low pressure belts and 4 high pressure belts. Now you need not worry much about it, how to write. You should know how and what they are. Now in the picture you can see again there the equatorial low pressure belt, then the mid high pressure belts, and then we have the subpolar low pressure belts. So you see one is low, one is high, one is low, like that it goes. Now when we come to the way the winds blow, this will be useful. Now first you should know there are 7 pressure belts, 3 low pressure belts and 4 high pressure belts. So first one, equatorial low pressure belts. Now remember we have done latitudes, that time we had learned this. The equatorial, the equator 0 degree, then I had told 23.5, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. Then we have Antarctic Circle, Antarctic Circle and the North Pole and South Pole. So according to that only we will see here the equatorial low pressure belts extends from 5 degree north to 5 degree south latitude on either side of the equator. It has high temperature and low pressure. Now always remember, here you need not learn. So equatorial low pressure, the temperature is high, so pressure is low. The region gets direct sunlight throughout the air, hence air is always hot and warm. So this is a calm region with very little wind. So it is also known as doldrum, which means a belt of calm, equatorial calm. So it is very famous with the name doldrum. Very often this is asked, what is doldrum? So doldrum is nothing but the region that is equatorial pressure belt where air is always hot and warm. So this region is very calm with very little wind. This region is also called intertropical convergence zone, that is ITCZ, where the trade winds converge, they take a turn. Then the next is subtropical high pressure belts. Now these are found between 30 and 35 degree north and south of equator. Then there are two types of subtropical pressure belts. They are north subtropical high pressure belts. Now this lies, you can see the picture once again, for picture. Now there are two subtropical high pressure belts, that is north subtropical high pressure belt, you can see there. Then this belt is found between 30 to 35 degree north latitudes, and this region is popularly called as horse latitudes. Then the south subtropical high pressure belt, this belt is between 30 to 35 degree south latitudes. So you can see the subtropical pressure belts, you should know they are between 30 and 35 degree north and south of the equator. These belts are also calm with very little movement of air. You should remember they are called as the horse latitudes. Then we go to the next one, subpolar low pressure belts. Now they lie between 60 and 70 degree north and south latitudes. They should have high pressure, but because of rising currents of air and rotation of the earth, the pressure is low. Now the north subpolar low pressure belt is from 60 to 65, and there is south subpolar low pressure belt, and these are stormy, especially in winter. So these are very stormy. The last one is polar high pressure belts. They are found around the north and south poles. The pressure is very high and temperature is very low. That is these are extremely cold regions. Here polar high pressure belts where the pressure is very high and the temperature is very low. Now next we go to wind. Now this pressure belts and wind we should know together. Now wind is the horizontal movement of the air on the surface of the earth. Now wind blows on the earth due to the rotation of earth and difference in the pressure. Now wind vane or weathercock shows the direction of the wind. The anemometer measures the speed of the wind. Now there are different types of wind. Now winds are classified into four major types, that is planetary winds. Now they are also called as permanent winds or regular winds. Why? Because they blow more or less in the same direction throughout the year. They play a major role in climate change, desert formation, guide navigation routes, etc. Now there are three types of planetary winds. First one is trade winds. Now these winds blow from subtropical. We will go back to the picture. We'll go back to the picture to know about these winds. Just you see here the trade winds. You can see are you able to see? No, I think you are not able to see. I will wait. Yes, now you are able to see. The planetary winds are of three types. These winds blow from subtropical high pressure belt to the equatorial low pressure region. The trade winds in the north hemisphere blow from northeast to southwest direction. And then we have westerlies or anti-trade winds. You can see there westerlies. These winds blow from subtropical high pressure belts to subpolar low pressure belts. These are from southwest to northwest in the northern hemisphere and northwest to southeast in the southern hemisphere. The westerlies of southern hemispheres are very strong over the oceans. So they are called as roaring 40s. If they are between 40 degrees, they are called as roaring 40s. If there are 50 degrees, they are called furious 50s. And then 60 degree, if they are there, shrieking 60s. So they are called as the roaring 40s or furious 50s or shrieking 60s. You can see there the westerly. Then we have the polar winds. Down you can see. These are also called easterlies. These winds blow from polar high pressure belts to subpolar low pressure belts. They blow from northeast to southeast in the northern hemisphere and southeast to northwest in the southern hemisphere. These are the cold dry winds blowing from the polar ice caps. You can see there the arrows showing the easterlies blowing towards the equatorial region. Then we have westerlies going towards polar region, polar winds coming towards the subpolar low pressure belts. So these, because they blow in these directions. Next we go the other type of winds. Second one is the seasonal or periodic winds. The second type of winds are seasonal or periodic winds. Now these winds change their direction periodically or seasonally. Now the monsoon winds of India are the typical periodic winds. In India, southwest monsoon winds blow from southwest to northwest during June to September, and northeast monsoon winds blow from northeast to southwest direction from late September to middle of December. Now these are the specific winds which blow in a particular season only. The third type we have is the variable winds. These are of two types, cyclones and anticyclones. Now these winds blow due to great variation in pressure. Now these are temporary but sometimes dangerous and destructive. Now cyclone, they are of two types. Cyclone is a small low pressure area in the center surrounded by high pressure. These are of two types, the temperature cyclones and the tropical cyclones. Temperature cyclones bring in rains. Tropical cyclones are very destructive. They are called by different names in different regions. The cyclones in Japan and China, they are called as typhoon. Australia, they are called as willies. USA and Mexico, the cyclones are called by the name hurricane. In India, we call them cyclone only. And Russia, it is called as whirlpool. So if you know, a washing machine is with the name whirlpool because it moves. So that name comes from there. Then this two types, cyclones, then anticyclones. Now anticyclones is a high pressure area in the center with winds blowing outward towards the low pressure area. In the northern hemisphere, the direction of anticyclone wind is clockwise, and southern hemisphere it is anti-clockwise. I think the picture tells you cyclones in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. Similarly, the anticyclones, you can see the picture. So the wind blows to the low pressure area. Then the third type is local winds. Fourth type is the local winds. Now they affect smaller areas and are result of variety of causes like change in local temperature, pressure, humidity. Now the important types are land and sea breeze, valley and mountain breeze. So these are the different types of winds, and then hope you have understood. Now we go for the assignment. Now here you see, answer the following questions. What is atmospheric pressure? So one line answer, air has weight and it exerts pressure. This pressure is known as air pressure. Now what is doldrum and where is it found? Doldrum means belt of calm. There is no air there because the air becomes warm and it rises up. So this is a calm region with very little wind. This is found in equatorial low pressure belt. Now what is wind? Wind is the horizontal movement of the air on the surface of the earth. Differentiate between isotherms and isobars. So isotherms are imaginary lines drawn on the map or globe connecting places having same temperature. Isobars are imaginary lines drawn on the map or globe connecting places having same pressure. So the small assignment, you can do it. So next class with these pressure belts, I will tell you how the wind vane and anemometer works and how they tell us the speed of the and the direction of the wind. And I will continue with the next part. The small part is there which tells us about the humidity, how humidity affects the weather, how rainfall affects the weather, and we will find out some of the facts, the places which are very hot and where the places where it rains heavily. So all those facts we will do. Till this time you can read it. Thank you. Have a pleasant day.